while I'm wearing a super summery dress, there is a part of my mind that belongs to fall already. I got this new blanket. I'm a little too hot to wear it at this moment, but I got it for fall at Chapters on sale. I got my sister one. Life is good. So Nora is down for the night. It's looking a little bit rainy outside. I've got all the lights on, the overheads and all of that, so I'm terribly sorry if it's terribly shot, but it seems like the right time to do my fall TBR. Is it a little early? Yes, perhaps, but Reagan over at Peruse Project has done it, and so I feel like I'm allowed to. So no surprise here, most of the books that I want to read in fall are like quite spooky or thrillery. I am starting off with a somewhat ambitious goal for fall, which is to finish the books in the Dublin Murder Squad series by Tana French. You guys know I have just been loving them so much. They've made my year, like genuinely just love them. I will read any more that she comes out with. So the first book I have on my Kobo, but I don't have in physical form for you here, is The Secret Place. Now I don't know too much about this one, but I believe that it takes place at a boarding school, that there's some sort of murder at a boarding school, and the detective has some sort of link to the boarding school. That sounds perfect for fall in my mind, like September. I must read that. That'll be on my September TBR. And the last book that has thus far been published in that series is The Trespasser. Now this follows our detective Antoinette. She and her partner are working on a case in which it looks like a lover's quarrel has gone terribly wrong. We find a woman's body in a living room next to a table set for romantic dinner, except she's dead. The romance, it seems, has fizzled. And Antoinette feels like she's seen this woman somewhere before. I am very curious to find out more about that. I just love this series so much. So I want to read those two books for sure this fall. I don't think, I could be wrong, but I don't think I've read a Stephen King this year. And if I have, it was at the very beginning of the year. I might have read Dolores Claiborne in like February. I think that might have been a book club book. In any case, I'd like to read another Stephen King. Salem's Lot, it seems, is being turned into either a movie or a TV show. And this is my mom's favorite scary book. And so I'd like to read it. This takes place in New England, and we follow Ben Mears, who is coming home to his hometown. And he's there in hopes of exploring the history of the Marston house, which has a lot of rumors and speculation about the house. Very sinister things have happened in that house, and I believe while he is there, two boys go into the woods and only one comes back alive. I think this is a vampire book. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's a vampire book. And it's meant to be quite scary. And I think this is a book that he wrote at the very beginning of his career. This might be his second book that he published. And I tend to like Stephen King's earlier work more than his later work, although that could change because I really haven't read like a ton of Stephen King. So I'm really hoping I'll like Salem's Lot. The writing isn't too, like the font isn't too small. I was worried about that. So I'm okay. I'm gonna read this fall. Perfect time for Halloween. Next is In My Dreams, I Hold a Knife by Ashley Winstead, who I believe has just come out with her latest book that it feels like everyone is super excited about. So I need to get on to the bandwagon and see what she's all about. This is about Jessica Miller, who goes back to her university town 10 years later after graduation. And she's going back to be reunited with these friends who she was extremely close to until back when she was actually like studying at university. A woman named Heather Shelby was murdered, and the friendships were fractured and lost for what seemed like forever. Now, this group of friends are getting back together after all of this time, but it seems that someone has brought them there together. It sounds like someone wants to find out who the murderer is and is going to use this reunion as a place and an opportunity to do so. Sounds like a lot of fun. If you're wondering what this little orange tab is, I've been having a little fun with my bookshelves and sorting them by season. I don't know if that's extremely weird. It probably is, and I'm okay with it. If anyone is going to understand, it's you guys, I think. So I've gone through and kind of sorted stuff by season. So this is a fall book, hence the orange. So I'm really hoping it's going to be good. I've heard good things, so we'll see. Another academic book is They Never Learn by Lane Fargo. I've only heard good things about this. I've heard that if you like the movie Promising Young Woman, then you should read this. I loved that movie. It was so moving and funny and terrifying all at the same time. So They Never Learn follows a professor, Dr. Clark, and every single year she searches for the worst man at her university and plots his demise. So she is a serial killer, but she's bringing down the worst people, basically. So you're kind of rooting for her, I think, and I will probably be rooting for her, or at least most of me will be, if we're being honest. I feel like this is the time. I've got to pick this up. Perfect for September. There are a few books in here that I could see myself reading in September. Back to school time. I don't know if anyone else is like that, but I love this time of year. The next book, I just feel like this is a good one for this time of year as well. Again, another fall book. This is the book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James. I really enjoy her writing. It's like cozy horror, if that makes any sense. Very light. It's going to be spooky at times, but nothing overwhelming or too gross. But she definitely has these ghosty elements in her books, which I am here for at this time of year. So this book follows a true crime podcaster who has decided that she wants to create a series of podcast episodes interviewing a suspected serial killer who is a woman. Now, I believe she was acquitted, and this woman has agreed to sit down with our main character, Shay. Now, this woman was accused way back in 1977 of having killed 2 men, seemingly randomly, but all eyes pointed to Beth Greer. Now, this is years later. She's alive and well and is out of prison, and she actually lives in this like beautiful mansion. And Beth goes every day to go and interview her, or I should say Shay goes to interview Beth. And she's in this sticky situation. She's trying to earn this woman's trust and trying to find out what happened to these men. And as she gets more and more into the story and gets to know Beth more and more, she feels uncomfortable. She's not sure if she's talking to a serial killer or what. And she also gets a sense that there's something weird about the house. And that's where I think all the ghosty stuff is going to come in. I'm so excited to read this. Oh, yes. Okay, and the last book that I have on this list was actually on my August TBR, but I never got to it. And I think this is also on Reagan's fall TBR. And as she was talking about it, I just thought, yes, I could absolutely shift this over. It's gothic-y, right up my alley. This is the Hacienda. And this follows a woman who is kind of forced in some ways into a marriage. The Mexican government is overthrown. Her father dies, I believe, in the midst of all of that. And there's this wealthy man that kind of steps in when her future was uncertain and asks her to marry him. And she says yes, even against the advice of many of her friends and family around her. She says yes. She goes to live with him at the Hacienda, which I believe is his home. And it turns out that there is stuff to be worried about. It is a creepy place. I think the people living there is creepy. And this is meant to be a bit of a retelling of Rebecca, which I loved so much, so much. It just seems like the perfect time of year to read this as well. I could have read it summer as well, but in any case, here we are, and I'm putting it on my fall TBR. Those, my dears, are all of the books that I would really like to read this fall. Let me know in the comments below. Are you starting to think about fall? Are you even decorating for fall yet? And if you are thinking about fall in terms of books or what have you, actually, I would love to know. What is your favorite thing to do in the fall? What are you excited about for fall? You know, bookishly or otherwise, because I'm here for all of it. The decor, the cozy knits, just everything. You can talk here. This is a safe space. So I hope you guys are doing really well. I will talk with you very soon. Bye.